Sometimes as entrepreneurs, we get to a place where we feel like everything in the world is coming against us. Congratulations. That means you're facing resistance. I'm Alex Sharfin, and this is the Momentum Podcast, made for empire builders, game changers, trailblazers, shot takers, record breakers, world makers, and creators of all kinds. Those among us who can't turn it off and don't know why anyone would want to. We challenge complacency, destroy apathy, and we are obsessed with creating momentum so we can roll over bureaucracy and make our greatest contribution. Sure, we pay attention to their rules, but only so that we can bend them, break them, then rewrite them around our own will. We don't accept our destiny, we define it. We don't understand defeat because you only lose if you stop, and we don't know how. While the rest of the world strives for average and clings desperately to the status quo, we are the minority, the few, who are willing to hallucinate there could be a better future. And instead of just daydreaming of what could be, we endure the vulnerability and exposure it takes to make it real. We are the Evolutionary Hunters, clearly the most important people in the world, because entrepreneurs are the only source of consistent, positive human evolution, and we always will be. Congratulations, you are facing resistance. The last week or two has been pretty interesting for me. I've had a lot of challenges. You know, I just went up to Boise and spoke for Russell Brunson. And when I was with Russell, he said something that was so poignant. It jumped out at me. He said, you know, we've been doing a lot. We've been working on a lot. We're doing a lot of good things for a lot of good people. We're like offsetting the balance of good and evil. The way Russell sees it, he's like, you know, we're upsetting Satan. And when I look at it, I just hear energy. Like we're creating tons of positive energy, and that creates a ripple effect, a pushback effect from negative energy. And that is so real in the lives of entrepreneurs. In fact, for us, so often when we feel like we're facing the biggest pressure, the biggest challenge, the biggest problem, what's really going on is we are facing resistance. Here's how I explain this to entrepreneurs. You know, there are 3 states of being for entrepreneurs. The rest of the world sees happy, sad, frustrated, confused, ecstatic, all those things. Let's be honest, we don't really understand feelings that well, but what we do understand is momentum. That's why I named this Momentum for the Entrepreneurial Personality Type. That's why that's the name of my podcast, because I live for momentum. And I think that there are 3 states of momentum for people like us. 1, when we're in momentum, making things happen. The world is following in our wake. We're in that state of flow, that state of energy, that state of zen, making the world change like we want to. You know what that feels like. It's a feeling of ecstasy and energy and just being alive and being who we need to be. The second state of momentum is when we're facing resistance. And you know this state of momentum. It's where you don't have what you need, where the world is pushing against you, where you're seeing that negative energy rise up against the positive that you're creating. And it's that feeling of everything is just in your way, but you can still see that light at the end of the tunnel, that small illumination that lets you know you're moving in the right direction, and you compel yourself towards it. You push it towards you, and then you step through that light, and that is where you create your life. That is facing resistance. Now, the third state of momentum is when we're in full constraint, and often facing resistance is confused with full constraint, but full constraint is where we don't know where we're going. We can't see the next steps. The circumstances have gotten so overwhelming that we can't see that light at the end of the tunnel. And if you're there, that's different. Then we have to back off and start really figuring out what's going on. We have to take care of ourselves, start taking some walks, hydrating, figuring out what those next steps are. But if you're in that place where the world is pushing against you and you are moving forward and you know in your heart of hearts you're still going in the right direction, congratulations. It's exactly what Russell said. You know, he said when that happens to him, he knows he's moving in the right direction. He knows he's making the evil forces, the negative energy upset. And it just struck me because the last few weeks for me have felt like that. And so I know I'm on the verge of a massive breakthrough because in my life, I've been in the place where I've faced so much resistance, it was hard not to treat it like full constraint. In 2007, Katie and I were involved in the real estate market. We had a massive real estate portfolio worth tens of millions of dollars. We were making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. We were living in a huge house. We had expensive cars. We were seen as an incredibly successful couple. And within just a matter of months, the real estate market the real estate market caved in. It fell apart. We lost everything. We were on the verge of and then in bankruptcy. And I wish that I could tell you that the day that we declared bankruptcy, I just picked myself up and started moving again. I didn't. I didn't know what to do. I was staring at the walls. I was in that place of constraint. I was frustrated. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't see the next steps. What did we do? Well, I'm so lucky that I'm married to Katie, because on a nightly basis, she would make us tell each other what we were grateful for. She caused us to start thinking about what actually still mattered to us. And that created self-care. I started getting up, running, walking, working out, drinking healthy, eating healthy. I figured if I'm going through bankruptcy, I'm going to do everything I can to lower the noise everywhere else. And in that place, I remember picking up one of the most important books in my life, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And I know a lot of people talk about this book, but I've obsessed over it. I've read it dozens of times, maybe hundreds of times. I don't know. I've just been through it so many times. There's a copy right next to my desk, and there always is. Katie actually bought me a first edition of Think and Grow Rich. I get a little emotional when I talk about it, because when I hold that book, I can feel the energy of how many people's lives it's changed. And I remember when we were going through bankruptcy, I picked up that book, and it had in it this. I opened it, and I opened right to a page that had the quote, "Every adversity carries with it the seed of an equal or greater opportunity." And I remember thinking, that's it. This adversity, this bankruptcy, this thing that we're going through, this resistance we're facing, it's a gift. I need to push against it. I need to figure out how to get around it. And it's in the adversity that there's an opportunity. And we were going bankrupt because we were losing so many properties. And I started looking at how we were losing those properties, and we realized there was a way to help people who were in foreclosure in the middle of the worst foreclosure market in the world. And we wrote the Certified Distressed Property Expert. Well, the rest is history. Within a year, we were liquid millionaires out of bankruptcy. Within 4 years, we had put a company number 21 of the fastest growing companies in the country on the Inc. 500 list. And we did it all through understanding that we were facing resistance and knowing that the solution was in the resistance we were facing. It carried with it that seed of an equal or greater opportunity, and it will for you as well. In fact, just yesterday, I was on the phone with one of just the most all-star clients I've ever had in my entire career, Mariah Cause. She runs a company with her operator, Megan Mins, and they are amazing. In fact, so amazing, we've recently hired them. So not only are they my clients, I'm their clients as well. And when I met Mariah, she was facing massive resistance. She had a business that was exploding. She had a team that didn't work out. She'd had a larger team. She'd gone down to 2 people. They were trying to do everything themselves. It was just her and Megan against the world. She had this feeling like she wasn't going to be able to hire, wasn't going to be able to bring people on, didn't know how to do what she needed to do next. And we were able to convince her to join one of our programs, and she went from facing massive resistance in her business, massive resistance to building a team, bringing on people, getting leverage, getting the help she needed, to starting to apply our concepts with Megan. And almost immediately, there was this incredible shift in momentum. In fact, they went from a 2-person team to an 8-person team in just weeks, like really less than a few months. They went from $1 million business to a $3 million business, a full evolution on the billionaire code in run rate in just a few months. They went from selling at tens of thousands to now 6-figure programs, which is unheard of for somebody to scale their pricing that fast. And all of that was born out of a time where I'm sure both of them will tell you they felt like they were facing more resistance than they ever had in the business, and they truly didn't know how to see forward. So if you're in a place right now where you're facing resistance, where you feel like the cards are stacked against you, where you feel like you just can't get purchase and you can't go forward, I have something to tell you. Congratulations. It means you're doing it right. It means you're starting that positive energy out in the world. Now, here are some warnings. If you're facing resistance, here's how you get out. Here's how you go forward. The way you pull that light at the end of the tunnel closer to you is you get clarity. You start taking care of yourself. Get up in the morning and take a 20-minute walk before you look at electronics. Walk, breathe deeply, calm your body down, get out of fight or flight. Hydrate fully, do a hyperhydration in the morning. If you haven't yet, take our 10-day natural thirst challenge. Go to getthirstynow.com. One of the hardest things to do when you're facing resistance is to take care of yourself, to hydrate, to walk, to start eating whole foods. Get rid of the chemicals, the dyes, the artificial sweeteners, the artificial colors, the artificial everything that you have in your diet. You can't take it. You're an evolutionary hunter. You need to act like an evolutionary hunter. Treat yourself like a professional athlete, and you will show up like one. Because if you're facing resistance, if you're in that place where you can't see the next steps and you don't know exactly what to do, you want to move forward and you know there's more here, that's how you break through. And for everyone who tells you, oh, I'm so sorry you feel that way, and oh, it's so tough that you're in this place, and oh, I hope you can get out of it soon. I'm the person who's going to tell you, if you're facing massive resistance, then you're probably doing the right thing. There is a reason out of 29 million businesses in the United States, 22 million of them have only hit $100,000 in revenue or less. Why? Because most people face the slightest bit of resistance and they give up. Most people see an uphill climb and they turn around and look for the downhill. Most people see that light way at the end of the tunnel and tell themselves, I just can't get there. Well, I have news for you. If you can see the light, see the mountain, know where you're going, understand that there's something more there, and if you have that crazy, insane, obsessive part of you, then in the back of your mind says you are meant for more. You can do more, you can be more, you can give more away, then you owe it to yourself to press forward and get through the resistance, to take care of yourself and create awareness and presence so you can see your next moves. And you don't just owe it to yourself, you owe it to all of us. Because you are an evolutionary hunter. You are an entrepreneurial personality type. The most important people in the world. We keep the human tribe alive. And I want you to know, if you're facing resistance, if you have that feeling, that is an ancestral feeling that goes back thousands of years to the first one of us who got up and said, I'm going to go over there. I want to see what's over that mountain. I want to see what hunt we can go on that way. I want to do more. I want to be more. I want to explore. I want to expand. I want to make this world a better place. And since the beginning, that person has been pulled down by the world around them. We are made to face resistance. So if that's where you are, if that's what you're feeling, I want you to know you are in exactly the right place. And if you take care of yourself, if you lower the noise around you, if you declare you are the most important person in your universe, and you treat your focus as if your life depends on it, because it does, you will get through this, just like great entrepreneurs throughout history have. You will get past this place of feeling like you can't move forward, and you will be back on the hunt like evolutionary hunters are meant to be. And you will move forward. You will create a greater outcome, and you will make this world a better place for all of us. Don't ever look for a life where you don't face resistance. Understand that that is a necessary part of being a person like us, and then ask for, pray for, have the intention of creating a life where you face massive resistance. Because that is when you will make the greatest change. And when you face that resistance, remember that throughout history, someone just like you and I has faced resistance like you are now. And it doesn't matter what issue, what problem, what challenge, what disease, diagnosis, what is falling in on you right now. Someone like us has been there, gone on to overcome all of it, and change the world. And so can you. If you're ready to create more momentum than you ever thought possible, get a copy of my book, The Entrepreneurial Personality Type. Let me explain yourself to you better than anyone ever has, and maybe for the very first time. Go to freemomentumbook.com, freemomentumbook.com. Check out The Entrepreneurial Personality Type. Let me show you why you feel entrepreneurial suppression, and let me show you why it's not your fault you're not creating the momentum you want. Let me show you how the loops and and spirals in our lives hold us back. Let me show you how you can create momentum right now by understanding the 10 attributes of the entrepreneurial personality type and how, when there is low pressure in our lives, they move us forward. And when there is high pressure and noise in our lives, they make us look damaged, disabled, disordered, and like we're dangerous. I want you to create more momentum than you ever thought possible. I want you to crush through the resistance you're feeling right now. I want you to take everything you're doing to the next level so that you can feel the rush and acceleration and intensity of the contribution you and I both know you were meant to make. Go to freemomentumbook.com right now. Download the entrepreneurial personality type. It will change your life.